Hello crafty friends, this is the Papered Chef here. Welcome to part 8 of my Eden's Garden Workshop series. Today will be the conclusion of this series. We're going to create these two fun projects and then I'm going to tell you who won the VIP drawing for all of the things I created in this series. I'm also going to go back through and show you every project I created in this series. So I came up with this because what I usually do at the conclusion of my workshop series is I create something simple, usually a bookmark or something. And I thought this other video I did recently would relate to this because I did a video on masking, and here's a mask. Okay, and these are our new decorative mask. And I can't reach right now the other mask I made, but if you want to check that video on YouTube, there are all kinds of decorative masks. I'm going to show you the mask, but I can't show you the projects because they're on the other side of the room. I only have so much room, but these are the projects I just showed. I showed how to use these decorative masks on YouTube, right? This kind, the butterflies, right? And this one, the layering flowers. Oh gosh, I already forgot the name of it. Butterflies and flowers, layering decorative mask. And as I was doing that video, I was like, oh, these will be really fun to use with my Eden's Garden Workshop series. And since this series is all about techniques, why not show you that technique in relation to how to show you how to make this bookmark and tag treat? So kind of like, killing two birds with one stone, even though we don't want to kill any birds on this channel. So this one I thought went perfect with the Eden's Garden. I don't know, what do you guys think? So I'm going to take a piece of paper, and there's already some ink on it, but I'm just going to keep using the same color. Now this one's very flimsy. I'm going to keep it real. I always keep it real on my channel. They're made like with totally different things. I don't know why they use different materials, but probably because of the intricacy, and maybe you can't use the same material. I don't know. This one's like double the thickness of this one. So this one was flopping up and it kind of got blurry, but it still looked cool as a background. But that's just what happens. So you really have to tape it down and kind of hold it down. So we're going to do that part first, and then I can clean my hands and stuff. So we're going to get a couple pieces of tape. So get out your tape. And don't worry if you don't have this decorative mask. You can just use a blending brush or your sponge dauber that came in your kit, in your Eden's Garden kit. And you could just sponge dauber through here. You don't have to have a big blending brush. That's just what I'm using. So the first thing I want to do is, and I actually think it came out better in soft succulent, but I want to show you how to do it in white as well. Oh, look at everything getting all tangled up. All right, this is some thread that came in your kit and some very vanilla ribbon. I was trying to use up things that you had that we might not have used yet. So that's why I'm using some of these supplies. But you're not going to use everything in your kit all the time because I always put extra crafty goodness in every one of my kits. So you're never going to use it all. But I wanted to make sure I used what I could. Okay, so and you had some Hershey Nuggets in your kit that we already used for another project. But you can still get the concept. All right, so you're going to take a piece of soft succulent. We're going to do this in soft succulent, and we're going to do it in basic white. So for the soft succulent piece, I did it 5.5 inches wide. That's how big my bookmark is. Because 5.5 inches was so 5.5 was half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So that's kind of where I came up with the 5.5 inches for the bookmark by 2. Okay. Let's just make a bunch of them. Because, you already have the one measurement made. So I know I'll write this down for you. So 5 bookmark. Okay, and it could be a tag. It doesn't have to be a bookmark. Bookmark equals 5.5 inches times 2 inches. Okay, now the tag treat, like we're going to do this at the same time, equals 6 3/4 inches. And it's also 2 inches because we're using the same punch on both of these. So we need the same thing. I'm going to use thick basic white, okay? Thick basic white cardstock, not the regular. Well, I mean, you could use the regular cardstock. It doesn't have to be thick, but I'm using thick. All right, so let's put this down, and we're going to do 6 3/4 inches. 6 3/4. And we're going to turn it around and do 2 inches. 2, make another one. We'll just, make them at the same time. 2, I'll say hi to you guys in a minute. So I see you coming in. Thank you for saying hi and saying hi to each other. And please report any spammer. You see Love Face is back with the spamming. I don't even think it's a real person. I think it's a bot. Like a computer bot that just finds out who's going live and just starts spamming. But if you report it, it'll stop. All right, so let's see. This is the tag treat. So now what you're going to do for the tag treat is you're going to score it. Score at 3 inches and 3 3/4. Now I have this memorized because I make these. I've been making these for many, many years, for my craft fairs, and you've probably seen them on my channel before. But I just keep applying I keep making them, but I keep applying it to a new project. Okay, I'm looking for my score thingy. I'm using the Simply Scored, but you might want to use your trimmer to score. And I'm just putting them both there. Okay, I'm putting them both there at the edge here. Remember this was 6 3/4. See that? 6 3/4. So I'm scoring. I'm going to use the thin side at 3 and 3 3/4. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a better angle because you probably can't see the score lines on white. So the reason I'm going to fold it before don't punch it yet, but I'm going to fold it now because the reason I'm folding it now is because I'm going to I want to show you where the score lines are. So the idea is, we'll do the rest of this part later, but the idea is going to be standing up. Well, here it is. Here's the idea. So, you could punch it now, but you don't need to score it now. You don't need to punch it now is what I'm saying. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's do this. Let's pick a piece of sticky note is what I was going to say. Sticky note, and you're putting that right there because there's no reason to waste all this ink. You don't need to put ink everywhere, right? Just on the bottom. The bottom doesn't need ink. The back doesn't need ink, right? The back doesn't need ink. The bottom doesn't need ink. So you're going to kind of put that sticky note on it so that you only have to put, I want to leave room because there's still some more measurements. We have to do the belly band. So this one is, we're going to do this. We're going to do this part first, and then we'll do the belly band around it. All right, so anyway, we're going to put this down. And I tried doing it in different colors. So let's put this down. And I think it looked cool at an angle like that, right? And we're going to tape it up. And I tried different colors. I tried soft succulent on here, and it didn't really come out that good. So I think it came out better with the evening evergreen. It just came out darker, but then you can use soft succulent in the background. So here's how you're going to do it. You're going to take your evening evergreen and open it up. And you're going to get a stamping block. Okay, here's a stamp. There goes the stamping block. Here goes the stamping block. Okay, we're going to go. See? We're going to, I just re-inked that. So you see how much ink is on there? So I'm going to put some on my silicone mat here. I want to get rid of some of that ink. See, so you don't want to dip straight into you could dip straight into your ink pad. But I just find it's easier to sort of, dip and then tap a little blob off. So you see what I mean? There's like a big, that way a blob doesn't go all over your paper. Now under there somewhere is my bookmark, and it's white on white, so you can't really see it, but you just hold it down and sort of go like that. Now if you don't hold it down, it gets blurry, and it's okay if it gets blurry. It's all good. It's just that this one is flimsier, so you could use some glue dots under there. I thought of different things of holding it down. But I thought, well, glue dots might rip my bookmark, and then I was like, I don't know. I'm just trying to tap a little bit extra ink on there. If I just need a little bit of extra ink, I sometimes tap right into my stamp pad. But usually I just stamp. I like to use that as my ink. All right, let's see how it came out. Ooh la la. That's better than any of the ones I tried earlier. You guys are good luck to me. See that? Because I tried them and a lot of them were coming out blurry. So there you go. So that's what we're doing. And then we're going to do that again. Put that up there so we can admire our handiwork. You know what this also looks like? It could be baseball stitching. If you mask off some of this and do a baseball stitching, maybe that would work. All right, we're going to use the same mask for these, but let's do this one next because it's already has the sticky note on it, and shove it under there. Just lift it up, put it under there, right? and go for it. We're going to do it again. I'm holding it down. You noticed that, right? Tap, 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 tap. Again, use your sponge dauber, your sponges. Use whatever you have when you're masking. I'm trying to get in that bottom part. I guess it really doesn't matter because there's going to be a band there. Okay. 2 tag treats done. That one's a little blurrier, but that's still good. Put that one over there. And now we're going to do these 2. Let's go ahead and do our bookmarks while we're here. Okay. So just put your bookmark under there. Now you're going to punch the top of your bookmark off. So, I mean, still try to get it all under there. Even though you're going to punch the very top off, we still kind of cover it as much as we can here. Let's get it all under there. And let's use a little bit more tape this time. This one's a bigger one. We don't want it to slip. But I don't want to put the tape on the bookmark itself. I'm just taping the mask so it doesn't slip. All right, keep going. We still have lots of ink to use because I just re-inked. I'm holding my mask down. Don't use circular motions, sort of drag it for this kind. Because if you use circular motions, it just starts getting all blurry. And I can see this one's getting blurry already. Which is why I had to do it a couple times. All right, da, da, da. Yep, this one's lifting. Good thing I have a couple pieces of soft succulent. I think I'm going to give that one up. I don't think it's going to come out that good because I think it's getting blurry. Oh no, came out better than I thought, but still a little blurry. Let's just try another one. That's why I cut a few of these. So maybe it would help if I did tape the top of it a little bit because I'm chopping that part off anyway. I'm going to tape it right on there. Notice I'm actually just touching the plastic and holding right onto the plastic so it stops bouncing around. Okay, you know what I could do? I could just put my hand right over the part like that. See, even though it's all inky, and it'll keep those little pieces from flipping up. All right, we have faith that this one is going to be perfect. All right, very good. I mean, I'm happy with it. A little bit blurry, but I'm happy with it. All right, so now let's get to making the bookmark itself. So, and the tag treats. So we need to just get a baby wipe, right? I had to get rid of some of the stuff here. All right, so we have to do the belly band, and we're going to get rid of all these extra things here. We're going to do our punching. What else do we need? We need to do our sentiment. Okay, lots of steps here, just moving. So those of you that just came in, it is called, these are one of the 6 masks in the Butterflies and Flowers Layering Decorative Mask. So I'm using a new product here. I mean, it really jazzes up your cardstock. Really cool. It's just a really cool effect. Okay, now we're going to, while we have the ink out and everything, we're going to do the sentiment. And I don't think I was going to do any more die cutting because I have so many things in my bucket of crafty goodness, right? And this is more about something that you already know. Like, I'm going to just put a little sentiment on there. But if not, I have this one already made. I have this one already made. I have this one already made. You see what I mean? Like, I don't need to keep on doing this part. You already know how to die cut. We've been die cutting loads of stuff in this. Here, I'll just use some of these to decorate with, but I don't need to keep doing it again and again. You already know how to die cut from other parts of the series. So we don't want to repeat ourselves, but we do want to see if we can't get a sentiment on this one. And if not, it's okay. If it doesn't come out right, we're just going to go plunk and put that right on top. See? Doesn't matter. I'm going to open up the Evening Evergreen. And what I want to do is find another silicone mat. Not the same one that has all the ink all over it. I have a bunch of these. I use these all the time, these silicone mats, for crafting, so things don't slip all over the place, especially on my channel. Now the stamp is in here. I'm going to use an Eden's Garden stamp. So every part of the series, we used an Eden's Garden stamp. Okay, we're going to use Hello There right now, and we could use Sending Hugs is one that I just recently. This is the only one that fits across there. Sending Hugs is one that I used for the bookmark, but we're just going to use Hello There because the other one I washed and it's not even here. It's in my sink. All right, so we're going to put the Hello There, and we're going to go like that, and we're going to tap. We're going to put. This is a cling stamp. We're going to face and touch it, and just test your stamp. That way you make sure that you're getting a good image before you try to put it on your little banner. And hopefully it comes out. And it did. I'm very happy with that. All right, good. That's all we need then. That's our sentiment. But if not, we had this and this, but we can use one for each. So now let's do our punching, and we'll do our abandonment. So we're going to punch with, so these punches come like this. They come like flat, see? And you can store them. I have loads of these. I store them in baskets. You can get baskets from like the Dollar Tree. And I store them up like this so I can see what they all are. And I fit a lot of them in my cabinet. So this is called the Fancy Tag Topper Punch. We have a couple different tag topper punches. And I love it. And I use it all the time. I make bookmarks and tag treats all the time. Okay, and you're just putting the paper in there and punching it. Okay, all it's doing is just punching off the top tag. That's all it's doing. So shove it in there, and that's why it's 2 inches. That's why we made it 2 inches. We're going to do it with the bookmark. The banner. Oh, how to make the banner. Okay, I made the banner. Okay, so I should say that in this series, this is part 8 of the series. So if you missed the other parts of the series, in part 1, I taught you how to die cut. And in many other parts of the series, we did die cutting. This is the banner. So this is part of the bundle for my workshop series called Eden Dies. And the banner was made with soft succulent. Okay? So we'll probably put the banner on the tag treat because of contrast, right? But we'll put like this one on the bookmark. You see? You got a contrast. I have a white thing, so I'm doing a white thing over here. I have soft succulent over there. Okay, so that's how I got the banner. I taught you how to use adhesive sheets, how to die cut, how to make stickers, all throughout this series. So we don't want to keep repeating ourselves, but definitely look at the playlist. This video is part of a larger playlist. Well, it will be. I can't put it on a playlist right now because I'm live, but it'll be part of a larger playlist. Now, in my bookmark sample, I also use this punch for the Sending Hugs. I don't know where the sample, here's the sample. So if you want to use that punch, here, go over here. You can do your Sending Hugs stamp, which is in my sink. Oh, the name of the dies is called Eden Dies. And here's the product number. 157, oh boy, that's small. 831. 157831. And it's just gorgeous dies. That's where I got this little piece from. So I don't want to keep it, die cutting over and over, but see, I keep a bucket of crafty goodness. I don't just make one thing. When I make things, I don't just go, oh, let me die cut a piece for my bookmark or a banner. No way. I would never work like that. I would never get anything done. When I die cut, I die cut. That's what I do. I die cut. This is my die cutting session. I die cut. I save the scraps. I save the pieces. When I stamp, I stamp. You know what I mean? I have all these pieces that I need for my projects because I do things in stages. That's how I get a lot done. So anyway, this part here, we got to talk about, oh boy, no matter what I did with my hands, they're still all inky. Now we're going to do the little band. So we need our trimmer again. And we're going to take some of the Ever Eden Specialty Designer Series paper. Now this paper is no longer available, but those of you that got my kit got the paper. So my crafty friends have this paper. So what I want you to do is take this paper, right? And I'm going to just see if I have a 6-inch piece. I just need any 6-inch piece. Well, actually, wait. Since these are white, I'm going to use a different piece of the Ever Eden specialty paper. I want to use a dark piece. So let's use a dark piece because it's white paper. So we're going to use this piece. We're going to turn it sideways, and we're going to go 3/4 of an inch. Okay, 3/4 of an inch. Oh, my little blade fell out. And we're going to do a couple of those. My other blade must have fallen out somewhere. This is my second blade. But anyway, it's okay. 3/4 of an inch. It's all good. And I'm going to write that on your paper. Let's make some room because we're doing two things at once. We're doing two projects at once. We're going to say DSP. The DSP is going to be 6 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And now we have to score it. This is for the tag treat, the little band that goes around the tag treat. And we're going to score. Now remember, this is 2 inches wide, right? 2 inches wide. So that's our first score line. We're wrapping it around our tag treat, 2 inches. 2 3/4 because it's going to wrap around there. This is 3/4 inch wide. Remember, we scored it 3/4 inch wide earlier. Then we're going to add 2 inches to that. So we have 2.75. Now we go to 4.75 or 4 3/4. Now we add that. Now we're on this side of the tag treat. So we add 3/4 again, and we're at to 5 1/2. What do we have that little extra flap for? The little extra flap is to glue. See, that's the little 1/2 inch flap. So we'll go ahead and do this. Little band that goes around the tag treat. Great for craft fairs, great for stocking stuffers. You can just make these all the time. They are hot sellers because they're cuter than just handing someone a couple pieces of candy. You know, you put the candy in there. And that's your little band that goes around your tag treat. Let's do this one. Sometimes you can't see the score lines unless you turn the paper over because it's hard to see the score lines on the fancy side. Okay, now we're going to put the belly bands on the tag treat. And we're going to put adhesive here and here with our Seal Plus. Okay, don't put adhesive on the bottom. Don't put adhesive there. Just put adhesive right there. I'm using Seal Plus adhesive. Very easy adhesive. And I'm going to call that the back because that's where the little flap is glued. So I'm calling this one the back. And this will be the front. And you're going to stand up your tag treat and push down. Okay, and then you're going to get in there with your hands that don't have a lot of ink all over them like mine. And you're just going to push against it. And voila, you have your tag treat belly band. And now we're going to do the other one that is floating around on the table somewhere. Here it is. This one. This one. Stand it up. Where it find the back. Push down. Oops, those should be upside down. It doesn't really matter. Okay? I mean, I guess it doesn't matter which way they're right side up or right upside down because it's all pretty paper. Okay, so now we did our scoring and we did our DSP. So that was our tag treat. This was the cardstock part. So for the DSP, we had to score that at 2 inches. 2 3/4 inches. And then we went 4 3/4 inches. And then we went 5 1/2. Because the paper was 6 inches. That last part was for wrapping around. Now, we start to decorate. And you can just see kind of how I do this in real time and how the decisions I make. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. We're just going to see what happens. So we have our crafty goodness. And you can always put that on there in the background. That's always fun. Now we're going to be covering that up with this. So we can use that to hold this down. Or we can glue it down. It depends on how floppy you want your bookmark to be. So are people going to use it as a real bookmark or sort of as a decorative tag on a bag? Tag on a bag, that rhymes. So I'm just going to kind of glue it down a little bit so it doesn't flop all over the place. But in other videos, when we worked with vellum and cotton paper, we let things flop all over the place. Sometimes that's fun on a card. Okay. So now we're going to take that and we're going to put some dimensionals. Oops, put that there. A couple dimensionals there. I'm just putting them right in the middle there. They tend to stick better to cardstock. That's why I'm not sticking them to the metal part. And we're going to put this right there. And we're just going to center it. Now, how did I get that? I just used a little bit of my blending brush on the edges, another technique I've shown a lot. So when you have your sentiments, let's see if I have any sentiments I can show you here. So you have a sentiment and you're done stamping. You just take your blending brush and you sort of, right? And you do that to the edges. That's all I did it. That's all how I got that effect. Except I'm using Evening Evergreen right now, but you get the idea. For this one, I used Soft Succulent to get that effect on the edges. And this was a stitch rectangle, just so you know. All right, now then we're gonna do we're gonna put this one here. We're gonna put that one on there like that. A couple of little dimensionals. So in case this is the first video you're watching, you didn't see the other videos, you might not know about how to wrap the nugget treats. But we're not going to wrap the nugget treats again because we've already wrapped the nugget treats, so the nuggets. But I will write it down here for you. So in case you don't know how to wrap the nuggets, you're going to take pieces that are 3 inches and a quarter times 1 inch, and that's how you wrap your candies in your designer series paper. So then you can put 2 of these inside I put them in afterwards. So let's take a little piece of ribbon. And I'm going to measure my ribbon, I just sort of take any stamp case that's near me and I just sort of go like that. That's for my bookmark. I make it a little bit, not as long for my tag treat as for my bookmark. But for my bookmark, I make it that long. And then for my tag treat, I might make it a little shorter. So like this one is that vanilla ribbon. It's a retired vanilla ribbon, very vanilla. But I put it in your kit, so I'm just going to use it again, because you have it in your kit, and I'm not going to make it quite as long as the other piece. I don't measure things, guys. I might measure it by the time I type it up for my blog, but I tend to not measure. I just sort of eyeball it. And I just kind of cut it at an angle. And I'm just going to put this one on my tag treat because actually I'll do both. You know what? That'll be kind of fun. I'll do both. I'll do 2 of these because they stay on better. And the vanilla just sort of contrasts with the white, so you're not putting like white ribbon on white. You just always want some contrast. All right, so that's good. And then I'll do another piece for the other bookmark, another little piece of twine. Okay, it's coming out nicely so far. Now let's get I'm going to do this again. So I need one for the bookmark. And I need a little piece of thread. So in your kit you have some of this beautiful gold thread. I also hoard things for my kits because when things go, when things are retired, I just hoard things. Then I share them in my kits because this is like, I knew that this was going to be good. That was part of the Forever Greenery suite. It's at the end of this thread, it's all like frayed. So you have to tie knots in the end or use glue or something to keep all of this stuff from fraying even more. I like the frayed look, so I just tie a knot and then let it fray. Okay, let's see, get it in there. See, I want it to fray, but I want to tie a knot before it frays too much. So that's kind of how you work with thread, this kind of thread. Now, not all thread. Our linen thread doesn't fray. We have linen thread in our catalog now. All right, so for this one, what I like to do, before I add the soft succulent to my bookmark, I'm going to put this in and tie a knot. So we're just embellishing, and then I'll put a couple other leaves and things on here with some dimensionals. And then I'm going to clean my hands again and show you all the projects that you can make with this Eden's Garden. Or just kind of give you inspiration for any stamp sets you have to just use them. Don't let them sit there. Use them in different ways because you can bless a lot of people with your cards and use the same stamp set in so many ways. All right, so there's my little bow. And you know, you might want to double knot it if it's not going to stay on tight. And then I made a much bigger bow when I did it earlier. I think it looks better with a much bigger bow. And then I did a little bit inking on that piece there with the white. Okay, now let's see. Now put this piece of soft succulent on there. Soft succulent's one of the in colors, and this ribbon is available now. It's called In Color Ribbon, and it comes in pale papaya, soft succulent, evening evergreen, fresh freesia, and the other one, polished pink. So you can get this in 5 colors. And it's called, I think it's called ombre ribbon. No, I forget what the name. Here, it says it right here. Open weave ribbon, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Soft succulent ribbon. Soft succulent open weave ribbon. Not ombre. What's that word? Organdy. No, it's not even organdy. It just says open weave. Okay, so then you can just add a, now you can, so once your ribbon is in there, you're going to stick these Hershey nuggets in here like this, right? Stick the Hershey nuggets in the side. And then they stay so snug, but you want to tie you want to put the bow on first. Then you put your Hershey nugget treats in there. Just another elegant way to give someone a treat. And then what I do is I take all my extra little, I have some bling to show you and some crafty goodness. Let's put these over here. I know I had it out. A couple extra leaves, unless they flew on the, did we use them already? So the one leaf I use all the time is made with this little die. This little die, and that's what I'm looking for right now, because instead of die cutting it again. And it was right there, but that's okay, because I can use it to decorate with. It's not there. It's all good. So what I would do with that one is I'd put it like, I'd get that die and I would stick it, these little leaves, like I did here. Well, I did it on one of them. I would just like take it and put those little leaves around. So I still have a little bit more decorating to do. And I can use, you know, sometimes I just use this instead, because we can't spend all day looking for stuff, and we just use whatever you have. And you're going to trim these little border ones, these little border dies. Doesn't have to be used for borders, but I'm going to show you how I use this. We used this border die one of the times when we made the craft gift box. We used this border die. So you can now take this border die and you can use it like this on your tag treat. Okay, since I can't find my leaf. So I'm just going to glue that on there. Actually, let's just use dimensionals. Mini dimensionals, because they're quicker than gluing. And we're going to go like this. Put one there, put one there. I think 2 is good because it's going to hang off the side a little bit, so we're just going to put a couple on there. Don't use just one dimensional, use 2, because, you know, things fly if you use 1. All right, so that's what I mean. Just add some bling to your projects. Use the different vellum techniques we taught you. This is what's called a border die. We used this last week in the gatefold. So you can take this border die, and you wouldn't use it on the soft succulent because it would be tone on tone and you couldn't see the difference. There's no contrast. But what you might do is take this other tag treat, right? And you line it up. And what I would probably do is glue it first. That's what I would do. So this is how I would cut it. I would go like this first. I would take this Seal Plus adhesive and I would go across like that. So just to get it to the right length, because I've already folded and put my belly band on there. So put your finger there, push it against the side, right? And then turn it over and cut it. Oops, how did I do it on the wrong side? That was silly. I have to get the adhesive off. The adhesive does come off if you can get it quickly. You can get the adhesive off. After that, no deal. You can't get the adhesive off if you wait a couple minutes. Because this stuff is, the Seal Plus dries like concrete. Okay, so there you go. So you put it on that side. The side that we did all the stenciling on, I'm like, this side looks plain. And then you're going to go like that. and cut it. So that's just another way to decorate. And I'm using that one on this one because this one is white, but I wanted to use the soft succulent on that bookmark because that bookmark is already has soft succulent on it. All right, so I hope this gave you lots of ideas. Now let's go through and show you. I want to say hello and then show you all kinds of projects that we made in this series and tell you who won the projects that I'm about to show you. Wow, did we get spammed? I feel sorry for you guys getting spammed so much. I was ignoring that spammer. Hello, Nola. Hello, Carolyn, and Crystal from Iowa. And Pamela's here catching me live. I've gone live 3 times in 3 days, Pamela, so you never know when you're going to catch me. But in my VIP group, I sometimes give them a little sneak. Hey, I'm going live. But most of the time, I don't know myself, so I can't tell anybody. I mean, I don't know when I'm going to go live because I don't know when I'm going to be done my next project. Hello, Tessie from Minnesota and Ann from Pennsylvania. Yvonne, Janet, hello, Melissa from Texas. And Yvonne, thank you for reporting. You guys both, thank you for reporting. Janet and Yvonne for reporting that spammer because it looked like it stopped after that. Angela, Marie, hello. Bear Claw. What is the color of that ink pad? Color of the ink pad. Color of the ink pad. Okay, here. We used in this series, I pretty much try to use the same colors that I mentioned I'm going to use. Like in my next series, I tell you what colors I recommend. But I pretty much used Evening Evergreen every single time in the series, almost every single project. And then I used Soft Succulent a lot. So right now, if I was going to do this part, I would use Soft Succulent on the edges of this. It's the lighter color, Soft Succulent, because it matches. But if you're going to use like this one's a little bit darker, so you can just ink up your edges. See how you can do that with your dimension? So this one's Evening Evergreen because it's on my brush. And because never clean your brush just by wiping it on paper, right? What a waste of ink that would be, right? Clean your brush by going around to your projects and adding dimension to them. Because look how much cooler that looks. I mean, I should have done it obviously while it's flat, right? Not while it's in the air, but you get the idea. So this is, right now, this is Evening Evergreen. And so I'm using that one on the Soft Succulent as contrast, but on this one I use Soft Succulent because it was white and I contrast. Okay, so answered that question. Hi, Susan and Julie and Dawn, Charlene. Yeah, Eden dies. I'm glad you guys are answering each other's questions. Okay. Diane, hello. And Angela. All right. Thank you guys for answering each other's questions. And RF from Canada. All right. So now we're gonna do this. We're gonna move this over, and I have to do this. I'm gonna do this. What I like to do when I show you projects is get my wooden surface of my table. This is gonna be that was part 8. So I made at least 1 project in every video. I made 2 now. So the person who won gets all 9 projects from all 8 parts of my series. I'm going to show you what those were and a couple other things I made with Eden's Garden along the way. They would get at least 1 thing from each video. So, and only the way to get into my drawings in my VIP group is to join and get one of my kits. So you get the kit if you're in the US, and that's how you can become part of the drawing. All right, here we go. I have to use my notes here. I got my bucket of crafty goodness I want to show you. Part 1. All right, let's find it. Here we go. In part 1 of this series, what I'm doing now, this is the conclusion of my series. In the conclusion of my series, I'm going to go over what we did in every part of the series. In part 1 of the series, we took out the Eden dies, and I showed you how to make this card using a very simple pattern that I used in my bingo too. It's just a very simple pattern. And we just die cut the pieces out, use the stitch rectangle dies. Some of this bling that I was going to use today on my bookmarks, but I forgot to. Here, I'll just take out the bling and show you the bling. I'm not going to decorate the bookmarks right now. I'll decorate them later, but that's the bling. These are called garden gems, and you have some in your kit. So that's how I decorated my bookmark earlier with the garden gems. Okay, we won't go back and do that. And so this is the introduction was how to die cut. And how to use the Eden dies and how to use This was the Natural Touch specialty paper, which I believe is still on clearance for only $2. We used an evening evergreen card. Okay, so that was part 1. Part 2, I showed you how to make Hershey Nugget treats. And so we already did the whole wrapping, so we didn't need to wrap them again today because earlier in the series in part 1, I showed you how to wrap the Hershey Nuggets. But I also showed you how to make the tray. I showed you how to make the tag topper. We die cut the pieces, we stamped, and we made Hershey Nugget treats. So that was part 2 of the series. Part 3, I wrote down that we talked about vellum and cotton. Cotton and vellum. I don't think that was it. Where was part 3? Vellum and... Okay, there was another... That was another part 1. This was something else. Here we go. Here we go. Part 3, I talked about how to make cards using vellum and cotton paper. So I showed you how to die cut vellum. This was the shimmery vellum that came in your kit, because I always include extra crafty goodness in your kits and specialty papers, and I showed you how to cut that vellum and cotton paper and do some fun layering with it. Okay, so that was part 3. Then part 4, we started working with 3D items, and we made this cool gift box in part 4. And in the technique you learned is how to stamp onto the craft. So we decorated the background of this craft gift box. This is available now, these boxes. And what I thought was perfect when I thought of doing this series is that this die from the Eden's die, you don't have to do anything to it. It just fits on that window. You don't have to die cut the window. The window is die cut for you. Okay, so far we've shown you that was part 4, all those projects. Then part 5, we did distinctive stamping. Distinctive stamping is when I showed you how to stamp this part here, and we did a bunch of those. Let me show you. This is the one we actually made. This is the one we made in the class. So one of these will be part of the prize, not both, but one of them, because this is the one we actually made in part 5. Distinctive stamping, this is what it is. It's when you take these stamps that have like shading already built into them, and you sort of stamp onto the paper, and then you stamp back on, and you change the color up, and you make this layering effect. And then I actually did cut it with scissors, not my ScanNCut, because it was easier to cut with scissors because it was so many different little tiny wispy layers. And that's this stamp here. So we got to use this stamp here, distinctive stamping. And I think there's something I haven't used yet. Let's see. Can you believe it? There's a couple stamps I have not used yet. I'm kind of not into the little tiny inside sentiments, as you can tell. But we used all these other stamps in this series. And one of them is in my sink, the sending hugs. Okay, these are the 3 sentiments. All right, that was part 5. Then part 5 we did, that was part 5, distinctive stamping. But part 6, the technique that I taught in part 6 was called the baby wipe technique. If you've never tried the baby wipe technique, it's just fantastic. You take your baby wipes and you make a stamp pad out of your baby wipes. And your stamp pad can be used then to make this multicolored effect for your backgrounds. So, sorry to those of you that are on my team, but I have to show this now because it's part of my series. But this was my swap, so, you're going to get to see it if you ever get my swaps because my mail is so slow. But this is what you can do with that same technique, okay? This isn't part of the series. I'm just trying to show you what you can use with the same technique. Baby wipe technique, baby wipe technique. Okay? You can make card backgrounds. You can make box backgrounds. By the way, this thank you is not from this. The background is not from, this background is from Eden's Garden. This here, right? See the Eden's Garden? It's from here. See all these little sprigs? Sprig, 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 sprig. All from here. However, the thank you for inspiring me is not from here. It's from Blessings of Home. Here. Blessings of Home stamp set. I love that sentiment, even though I'm not like I'm not a big person with the whole flower thing from that stamp set, but I love the thank you for inspiring me stamp from the Blessings of Home stamp set. Okay, so that's that. And that's that same stamp. Look how different it looks when you put it on a New Horizons Designer Series paper. And I used the, I forget the name of the punch. Punch. What's the name of that punch? Oh, I didn't write it down. It was something, timeless label. Okay. Back on track, that was the baby wipe technique. Okay, the next video in this series was part 7, was the last part we did until today. So, and then today was part 8. So part 7, I taught you how to make a gatefold card using these border dies. So we finally got to use the border dies, although we used them a lot more times. Like I just used them again today. This is a border die right here. That's a border die. And I used them in many of my cards before, but this time I used them in the sense that we made a gatefold card. And this was the timeless label punch. Okay, so that was the gatefold card. So that was pretty much my whole series. Now I do have a few other projects to show you from this series, or from this Eden's Garden, but that was my whole series. So before I show you the other projects, I want to just write down that the winner, and we did the drawing, is Janet G, and we did the drawing inside my VIP group, okay? Anybody that buys a kit is automatically invited to my VIP group. So she won everything I just showed you. I mean, one of everything. So she won this, and then, you know, part 8. See, here's part 8. So, for example, she won one of the gatefold cards, one of the boxes full of crafty goodness. Here, she'll win this box here. This is one of her prizes. She gets all this candy in there. You know, she gets, and I'm going to tie it up pretty too, because I had it untied. She gets this box. She gets one of the gatefold cards, one of the distinctive stamping cards, one of every single thing I made throughout the series. One of these, one of the Hershey Nugget treats, one of the tag treats, one of these cards, one of the bookmarks. So at least 9 projects, and I'm going to finish blinging it out. Okay, so congratulations, Janet G. I appreciate you getting the kit, and congratulations for winning that. So now I just want to show you a few more projects that weren't part of the series, but I did show them on YouTube. On YouTube, I showed one of the techniques that's in this playlist, but it's not part of the series. Way before I even started the series, I taught you how to emboss and stamp onto the cotton paper. So if you got some of that cotton paper, when it was part of that special collection, I used the Tasteful Textiles embossing folders, and I stamped and embossed that paper, and I stamped on it the background. So that's how to do that. That's the technique. It was called, I'm surprised I didn't put it there, cotton paper. Well, it's Ever Easin specialty paper around the back, and then this was cotton paper. Okay, this one is my favorite card of all the things I made with the Eden's Garden. It's my favorite card. It wasn't even part of the series. It's just another video I did. It was part of my Ink It Up series, a different series. And in that series, I teach you how to do lots of coloring things. And in this, the technique I showed you is how to color and emboss embossing folders. And so that's the Hive 3D embossing folder. I don't think there's anything on the inside of that. Yeah, Hive 3D embossing folder. All right, and then this one was just more of the vellum and cotton cutting out technique. This is another one of the baby wipe technique cards I made with the background and the border. And this was a combination of my baby wipe technique, hello there from this one, and thank you for inspiring me from Blessings of Home. Okay, this is one I made on my Facebook Live. We did it, we used the little, this one. It was the double oval punch. Okay, but now I showed it to you today. It's the same tag treat I showed you. Okay, so that is the crafty goodness. And that's all for this series. I'm so excited to be done because although I could have just gone on and made projects forever and ever and ever, I am excited to start my new series. And my new series is based on Rainbow of Happiness bundle. It'll be linked in the description of this video on how to, I can't get anything else on the table right now where I would show you. But the next series is Rainbow of Happiness. I'm starting it this weekend. And even though nobody has a kit yet, because I just let you order the kits recently, so I have to get the stuff, make the kits, send them out. But I'm still going to start my series, and then you can catch up to me when you get your kits. But that's how it goes, because the series, the reason I want to start it now, I was really going to wait, but then I thought you can't get the paper anymore after February or while supplies last. And the paper that I'm talking about is this awesome Rainbow of Happiness paper that's a celebration item. And so I want to make sure I try to do my whole series during celebration so that those of you that like the paper in my series can get it, versus sometimes when I show things and it's already past the date, then you can't get it, and I don't want anyone to get frustrated. So I definitely want to start that series soon. Thank you all for watching. This is the Papered Chef.